Hi, my name is Robbie. I go by Schizophrenia. I'm 31 years old, and I was diagnosed with schizophrenia affective disorder when I was 18. But that's not my whole story. As far back as I can remember, like 6, 7 years old, I used to hear these voices that would like scream and yell at me, and they never really said anything, really, that I could remember, except just muttering and screaming and yelling.
When he was younger, well, he was the first of 3 boys. So being my first child, I didn't have any experience of what normal behavior was. So he was kind of a cranky, cranky baby. But then he I guess he, you know, the normal steps for a baby and toddler. But then we started noticing when he was maybe around 2 that he was getting night tremors. Night terrors, they were called. But it was more like he was being possessed. He would start. We were in a 3-story house, and he was in the top floor, and we were in the basement watching TV, and we could hear this blood-curdling scream.
When I was really young, would come in at like 3 in the morning to me, like screaming and like terrified.
It was like in a trance, screaming and crying, and it went on for like 5 minutes or more, and that started happening just about every night. And the doctor said, well, they're just night terrors, don't worry about it. But it seemed like from that point on, like it was like he was trying to always get something out of his head.
I was like constantly crying, and I couldn't tell what was real and what wasn't real, and I was having like these thoughts and mixed with sometimes voices. So I didn't know how to differentiate normal from not normal because I was unaware of what was normal and what wasn't normal. But I knew that there was something wrong there.
So high school, like I said, went from bad to worse. He started really acting out. Probably by grade 10, we found out he was doing some drugs. But in the back of my mind, I knew that it wasn't just the drugs that were causing the behavior. There was something more serious going on. But trying to find any help for that was very, very difficult.
I was a teenager and I was out of fucking control. But I think always, even to this day, I constantly craved to be comfortably numb.
At grade 11, he was getting extremely depressed and was getting suicidal, and so it was a very frustrating, painful time just to even get a bit of an answer. Once we did find out the diagnosis, it was just like, okay, what do we do? What do we really do? Because you really don't get any help about what you can do. There was some education for the parents on how to deal with this, and that was very helpful, but not the day-to-day, like every day, how am I going to live with this behavior? Because he also has 2 brothers that we were, you know, trying to raise and trying to be a normal family, and we, you know, made it look like we were the normal family, but inside our house it was a nut house lots of times.
There's a lot of different aspects of schizophrenia, a lot of different you know, symptoms type things. So the voices are one, and the delusions and the hallucinations are one thing, and then there's the behavior, and then there's the thoughts. You know, thoughts are different than voices and hallucinations. Then there's the behavior, and then there's the little things mixed in between, like twitching, not feeling right, you know, right. And that kind of thing's hard to explain. So I know that I'm doing it, and that how weird it must look, but I do it anyways.
You can't stop.
You can't stop.
You think that it's a lot harder for people who have a mental illness to live a normal life, like keep a job, maintain relationships?
Oh, for sure, 100%. Now, for me, I'm 31 years old. I live in my parents' basement. Don't have a girlfriend, don't drive, and I'm not feeling sorry for myself. I'm just telling you the things that I don't have, like a normal. I don't work. Mm-hmm. I collect disability. I take medication every day. I got severe OCD. I don't do much, you know. I do, you know. But I'm very fortunate that I have the support that I have. Mm-hmm. Could I imagine being how I am now without the support? I was sitting there, I was sitting outside smoking a joint thinking to myself the other day, all I want is a warm bed and the heater on and you know, a glass of water and stuff. And thinking that some people don't even get that. So imagine not having like the support that I have. Like, how do you live your life? Like, if I didn't have this, well, first of all, I wouldn't have an address to get my disability check. And yes, it must be ridiculously hard. Because the way I always say it is like, maintaining my mental illness is a full-time job in itself.
I remember when I lost my mind. There was something so pleasant about that place. Even your emotions have an echo in so much space. Does that make me crazy? Does that make me crazy? Does that make me crazy?
Yeah, I think some people, they look at that, they don't really know how to make sense of it, especially when you hear the word schizophrenia. You know, when you hear that, like, it's a scary word, and they kind of back off, and you're like, so, like, are you gonna fucking kill me? Like, are you hearing voices right now, or are you fucking messed up and shit? And it's like, or you know, violent. If I'm having an episode, then I can be very, very. See, I'm not gonna hurt somebody, but I'm freaking out of control. In that situation, obviously people are looking at me and like he looks like there's something going on. That holy frick, man, people do. It's like they automatically do treat you differently. So when you see somebody that's not in the ordinary, you don't understand it, and you're like, you don't treat them the same. I mean, people have the right to their opinion. If they want to think that, all we can do is inform them on what it really is and show them that stigma sometimes is unneeded.
And you know, who else are we going to talk to? We don't want to talk to the neighbors, because then they're going to think we're really weird. We're like, ooh, we can't be around them. Because there was a lot of stigma, or we felt, and especially living in a small city where everybody knows everybody, you're not going to say, oh, my son has a mental illness.
Maybe I'm crazy. Maybe you're crazy. Maybe we're crazy. Probably.
The fact that they've closed down Riverview, that's the crying shame. That's a place where people with mental illness felt safe. There was a place where they could heal in a wonderful environment with people that knew how to take care of people with mental illness. I don't think Rob would have survived out on his own if he didn't have his family. He could be a street person. He would not be the person he is if he didn't have a family to look after him. And a lot of people that have mental illness, their family can't take care of them. And now that there's not a place like Riverview to take care of them, the streets are taking care of them.
Like, why did they close it? I don't understand that. Like, there's no place for them to go now. Like, really. I can't believe they took away a place that some called home, where the broken souls that were left behind are now left all alone. Some who have been committed for life, now old and gray. I can't believe the only thing they had left has now been taken away. I spent a short time on the grounds of Riverview. Back then it seemed so long. I've come so far since the day I've left. I've come back and now it's gone. Though I'm glad they held on to a part of this land for the people to come, only few understand. I remember the days of group and getting copious amounts of coffee at Penn Hall, where there once was a bowling alley and pictures on the wall. I'd talk to old Robert and bring coffee back for my friends. Me and Dustin would smoke cigarettes in the dorm right after 10. Mike would nicely say, "Guys, I smell smoke." Well, at least he didn't notice that I snuck a little toke. I only spent 3 months on the grounds there, but the memories will last forever, fading in the moonlight though like an old forgotten treasure. I can't help but wonder how many people must suffer in silence now, with nobody to love them or care for them the way they need to be cared for and the way they deserve to be loved. And even though the walls still stand there, the staff aren't there anymore. The shafted patients now walk the streets. This isn't fair anymore. Where do they go and how do they eat? How do they afford to put comfortable shoes on their feet? Riverview was a place of safety and sense of feeling secured, but those days of service are gone now, voices no longer heard. No more compassion, I think that's absurd, so I came there today to give you people my word. But I am just me, a voice in the wind. Where will I go and how will it end? A part of me wonders, but a part doesn't care. I think that I'm here, but are you really there? Is this real? I'll never know, and if I get real sick again, I might not have a place to go, and I'll be left to suffer alone, on my own in silence.